Well, welcome, David. Could you tell us a bit about the history of the walk-in clinics in Canada?
Yeah, many people think walk-in clinics, mental health walk-in clinics are a new idea, and actually not really. Mental health walk-in clinics in Canada have been around for over 25 years. The first one was established in Calgary at Woods Homes, and from that evolution in Calgary, the idea moved to Ontario. And across Southern Ontario in particular during the mid-90s to the late 90s. And in particular, Toronto was a hotbed for youth and child mental health walk-in clinics. And several organizations got together in the late 90s to develop a model that would offer rapid access to counseling services and also offer rapid access to solution-focused brief therapy.
Good. Can you tell us a bit about how it evolved over the years, this model of walk-in clinics?
Yeah, the model itself and mental health walk-in clinics has evolved very rapidly since really 2011. And in 2011, I worked at East Metro Youth Services, and we developed a brand called What's Up Walk-In. And it was in response to children and youth were waiting over 9 months for counseling services. And we had to do something different to create access to counseling and mental health services. And we decided that instead of having a long intake process, instead of having appointment-based counseling, that we would reduce all the barriers and open our doors and have our counselors ready 5 days a week. So we started that November 2011, and the first year we went from a 9-month counseling waitlist to a 3-week waitlist. Because the majority of the people sitting on the waitlist really only needed a few counseling sessions, or they needed something different. And we were able to help people faster. So when we help people faster, things get resolved quicker, and small issues don't become big issues or complex issues. So when people have access to service in the moment, that day, they're able to address things sooner rather than later.
Right. So that explains partly why they become so popular over the years.
Yeah, so since 2011, in particular, What's Up Walk-In expanded from East Metro Youth Services to 5 other organizations across Toronto. And in fact, parts of the What's Up Walk-In model has been exported across the country.
Right.
And Foundry BC, which is a child and youth organization that provides mental health services, has now opened 11 clinics. And we've been instrumental in helping to develop that model. So when you look at sitting here in 2018, and the other day I was talking to some of the directors across the country who actually have walk-in clinics, we're looking at mental health walk-in clinics are probably serving about 50 to 60,000 kids per year, and same-day access to mental health services. And so it's been an integral part of the menu of mental health services in many organizations, and also, creating opportunities for people to engage with services sooner than later, and also a cost savings for the economy, really, because less and less people will need ongoing services because of this.
That's very interesting. Can you give us some idea of the specific things that you deal with in those clinics?
Yeah, so having an open access, barrier-free environment brings all kinds of issues and all kinds of different demographics to our doors. So we deal with things that we call maybe low-intensity issues to high-intensity issues. So things like, I broke up with my partner yesterday and I need someone to talk to, which would be a low-intensity issue, to more complex and severe mental health issues. So stuff like suicidal ideation, so kids who are thinking about harming themselves, kids with extreme anxiety and depression. And we know through our data collection across the city that the top 3 issues are anxiety, depression, and interpersonal conflict. So either conflict with family or conflict with peers and friends and that kind of thing.
Good. And So exactly how do the clinics work? Can you explain a little more about the setup?
Yeah, good question. So what happens is a family member or a child and youth come into one of the centers. They fill out a registration form. So there's some basic demographic information, address and phone number. And then they're asked if they've been there before at the clinic. And if not, they fill out a second page, which talks about, they ask, what's the reason why you want to use the clinic today? What's the most important thing you want to talk about? So it begins to narrow down and target what the issue is, because you got to remember the sessions are only about 45 minutes to 1 hour. Once it's determined, once they fill out that question, then they look at level of stress, so from 0 to 10. And then they just general information questions around where did you find out about the clinic. So once that registration form is completed, it goes to a therapist. The therapist looks it over and walks out and greets the client, or youth and child, or family member, and a session starts. The session's completed, and usually people are left with something to work on, like an experiment to work on, to try something different, perhaps what we call maybe a CBT strategy, a cognitive behavior therapy strategy. And so they're welcome to come back, try that out, see how things go, and they're welcome to come back to the clinic, the following week, 2 weeks later, 6 months later, a year later, whenever they want to, at the time of their choosing.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. I know the focus has been mainly on children and youth, and I'm just wondering what you think about the application to other aspects of the population, people that are older, adults, and perhaps seniors. Do you think it might have some application in those areas?
I'm really confident through my experience over the last decade exploring this type of model that it certainly would have, I think, significant alignment with the population. And I'll tell you why, because when we started this, we were really focusing on kids from 12 to the age of 18, and then we dropped the age to younger children who are 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. And then we've expanded the age on the other end to up to the age of 29. And so it's serving the population very well with good results. Second to that is that we're also, and within our clinics, we also see parents and grandparents. And so already indirectly, we are serving a wide spectrum of ages and the lifespan, they call it, so 0 to 99. And so I think with absolute confidence, it would certainly be a great model for the general population, not just for children and youth. And we also know that solution-focused brief therapy, which is being used in clinics across the country, is also has shown promising results, in particular with the deaf population. Also showing promising results in emergency departments, working with seniors. And so I think it's something that needs to be explored a lot more, actually.
So you've mentioned the deaf population, and of course I'm very interested in that population. So you think it might have some application with people who are deaf, particularly those that use sign language as their main method of communication? I just wonder how you think that might work.
Yes, certainly, and just the research study I mentioned has demonstrated I think it's about 75% of positive outcome amongst the population. And that was a small scale study, so I think there needs to be a little more research on that. But I think if those promising results, if they could be scaled up or scaled out, would certainly give us more information and more knowledge about how much of an impact it could have on the community. And I think it's certainly worth a try to really explore that.
Well, that's very encouraging. And as you know, we have a focus right now on deaf seniors because of the demographics of the population. Deaf people are aging, and same as the rest of the population.
Right.
And so I just wonder if you think it would have application in that area as well.
Yeah, and I've always been concerned actually, because I don't think we focus enough on seniors' mental health. And we have often people in their 70s actually come by to our clinics, even though we're a youth clinic, and seeking support. So there is actually a demand and a need, and I think the seniors population gets forgotten about. And I would certainly want to explore and certainly want to encourage those who are listening today to really consider this type of open access, barrier-free model for the seniors population, because I don't think there's enough out there. And especially being a senior and deaf, there's even more barriers and less out there. So it's certainly worth to explore and worth a try.
Well, thank you very much for explaining the model and its application. I think this is very encouraging, and we look forward to working with you in the future in partnerships on this. Do you have anything more to add?
No, thank you for having me, and I'm really excited. My organization's excited, our sector is excited to be a part of this initiative.
Thank you very much.